my mother since I was 8 years old, and I'm not proud of that. A month later, I'm up living with my grandparents in the mountains, and 10 months later, I murdered them. It made it worse to be on top of a mountain. I was literally on top of a mountain when it happened. And I sensed everybody in the world just stopping what they were doing, turning around, saw what I did, and are coming to get me. And I knew I was paranoid at that moment. I knew anybody that came up there and gave me a funny look or a fishy eye or quizzical look, I'd have blown their brains out thinking they were coming to get me. And if it had been in a city, I would have been a mass murderer at age 15. I would have killed until they gunned me down. I wouldn't have been able to reason my way out of it. I was scared to death, and I was violent. I felt my back hit that wall. I was the rabbit that always ran, that always backed away, always burned his bridges. And suddenly there weren't any more, and my back hit that wall, and I came out screaming and kicking.
Listen to what Ed Kemper said during this interview while serving life in prison for the brutal murder of his mother.
My mother was a sick, angry, hungry, and very sad woman. I hated her, but I wanted to love my mother. And I watched the alcohol increase. I watched her social life drop off. I watched her get bizarre. She had terrible pain from her life, earlier life, her upbringing, a failed marriage with my father. I'm a constant reminder of that failure.
You were involved in the campus because your mother worked there?
Yes. I was also involved in killing co-eds because my mother was associated with college work, college co-eds, women, and had a very strong and violently outspoken position on men for much of my upbringing.
Ed Kemper talks about when he killed his mom.
I came out of her vagina, see? Came out of my mother. And in a rage, I went right back in. For 7 years, she said, I haven't had sex with a man because of you, my murderous son. This is one of our arguments. I cut off her head, and I humiliated her corpse. I said, there, you know? A 6 young woman dead because of the way she raises her son.
Let me ask you something. Did you ever talk with anyone about this? About your inclinations? Your mom, maybe?
Obviously not the way you're talking to us.
If I could get a word in edgewise, everything would have been different. From the moment I woke up in the morning, she was demeaning and belittling. And she knew all of my buttons because she put them there. I was her toy all my life, right up until the moment I cut off her head with a hunting knife.
Ed, why did you do what you did with her head?
Why does anyone? You know, that night I walked up to her bed. She's laying there reading a paperback, as many thousands of nights before. She says, oh, I suppose you're gonna want to wait up all night and talk now. Can you believe that? Wait up all night talking. Shit. And I knew I was gonna kill her. You know. I was honest with myself for the first time. Because I'm not a lizard, not from under a rock. It came out of her vagina. It came out of my mother.
Is it true that you put part of her into the garbage disposal?
Her vocal cords.
Why?
Because I couldn't shut her up. She wanted to destroy me with words, literally, so I shut her up for good. And now everyone knows it was because of what she did to me, because of the way she treated her son.
I was getting better at it. I was getting less detectable. I started flaunting that invisibility, severing a human head, 2 of them, at night in front of my mother's residence, with her at home, my neighbors at home upstairs, their picture window open, the curtains open, 11 o'clock at night, the lights are on. All they have to do is walk by, look out, and I've had it. Some people go crazy at that point. I felt it. It was one hell of a tweak. I mean, to just flip out and not know where I was. To be walking up the stairs with a camera bag that belonged to a young woman that had her severed head in it. Walking up to my apartment past a happy young couple coming down the stairs who nodded and smiled at me. as they went by, good evening, and they're going out on a date where I'd love to be going. And I'm aware of both of these realities, and the distance between those two was so dramatic, so amazing, so violent.
So how come they get in a car with somebody at that time?
She judged me not to be that guy. I didn't look like it.
What were those fantasies?
What were they?
Yes.
Possessing the severed heads of women. Men didn't turn me on. That wasn't very, I couldn't appreciate the appearances of a guy that when I was young. The first time, okay? The two girls were killed around 6 p.m. By 11 the next morning, they are both completely gone out of my life, physically. All right? That's not even 24 hours. The third murder, which is the second incident, okay? I'm in the middle of trying to get my record sealed, right? Thursday night, I killed her. I took off Friday. I didn't go to work. I called in sick, took CTO, all right? Dismembered her body, got rid of her body, but kept her head in her hands because they're identifiable. They're highly identifiable. I kept those at the apartment, okay? That Friday night, Thursday night, I took her. Friday morning, she was dismembered. Friday night, she was disposed of.
तुम्हारे कर्मों का प्रायश्चित काफी बड़ा है ब्लैक बियर, इसीलिए इसकी आंखें तुम रखोगे। येलो रैट तुम्हारे नेक कामों के बदले, इसके कान तुम्हारे हुए। तुम्हारी शक्ति फिर से एकत्रित हो गई येलो ब्रो, इसका नाक तुम रखोगे। 100 आइट तुमने काफी कष्ट सहे हैं, इसकी जीभ तुम्हारी हुई। और बुल किंग एक कसम खाए भाई जैसे दोस्त के खिलाफ जाना मुश्किल होता है, इसलिए इसका शरीर तुम रखोगे।
वुकोंग के पहले अध्याय में छोटे जिंची ने मेंढक का पीछा किया, जो धन का प्रतीक था, और काले भालू ने उसकी लालसा को भांपकर खजाने का लालच दिया। डरते डरते जिंची उस खजाने की ओर आकर्षित हुआ, पर उसे स्वीकार नहीं किया। उसका और भालू का क्षितिज की ओर देखना उनके भविष्य के रास्तों का संकेत था। सालों बाद अपनी कमजोरियों के आगे झुककर जिंची काले भालू की शक्ति को अपनाता है। उसके वस्त्र और व्यवहार मठ में बढ़ते प्रभाव का प्रतीक बनते हैं। खुद को अजय मानते हुए वह दूसरों के कसाया छीनने लगता है, लेकिन उसकी लालसा उसे कहां ले जाएगी।
जब महात्मा बुद्ध ने सन वुकोंग को पहाड़ी तले दबा दिया था, तो टैंग मोंक ने आकर उसे आजाद करवाया और उसके साथ मिलकर वुकोंग ने बहुत से याओ गुआइस को काबू किया और काफी लड़ाइयां लड़ी। और सन वुकोंग के अलावा टैंग मोंक के 2 और शिष्य थे, जिसमें से एक था जू बाजिए। दोनों ने मिलकर बहुत से याओ गुआइस किंग और दानवों का सामना किया, जिनकी दोस्ती की मिसाल दूर दूर तक फैली। और इनका तीसरा साथी था बुल किंग। आजाद करवाने के बाद भी टैंग मोंक को सन वुकोंग पे भरोसा नहीं था। उन्हें लगता था कि वो फिर से कोई हरकत करेगा, इसीलिए उन्होंने सन वुकोंग के सर पे एक गोल्डन हेड बैंड लगा दिया, जिसका नाम था जिंगू, जो एक मंत्र पढ़ने से सन वुकोंग को काबू किया जा सकता था।
प्राचीन समय में वुकोंग और बैलराज ने स्वर्गलोक के खिलाफ विद्रोह किया, परंतु नियति को कुछ और ही मंजूर था। उनका यह महान प्रयास असफल रहा। सजा के तौर पर वुकोंग को पंचशील पर्वत के नीचे 500 वर्षों तक कैद किया गया, जहां वह अपनी शक्तियों और स्वतंत्रता से वंचित था। वही बैलराज अपने घायल हृदय के साथ जलते पर्वतों में छिप गया। पराजय के इस दुखद परिणाम ने उनके जीवन को नए संघर्षों की ओर मोड़ दिया। बैलराज की धर्मपत्नी रक्षासी को जबरदस्ती गर्भधारण नदी का जल पिलाया गया, जिसके फलस्वरूप वह गर्भवती हो गई। बैलराज ने उस शिशु को अपनाने का कठिन निर्णय तो लिया, परंतु यह निर्णय उनके संबंधों में दरार का कारण बन गया। खेल के अंत में नियति का योद्धा वुकोंग की विरासत को अपनाता है। अर्लेंग और वुकोंग दुश्मन नहीं थे, बल्कि उनके बीच सम्मान था। अर्लेंग ने वुकोंग के साथ हुए अन्याय को समझा और महसूस किया कि उसका अपराध केवल स्वर्ग में बंधन से इनकार करना था। शायद अर्लेंग वुकोंग के संघर्ष को समझता था और उसकी मदद करना चाहता था। उसने वुकोंग में खुद को देखा, एक ऐसा योद्धा जो अपनी स्वतंत्रता के लिए लड़ा। अर्लेंग ने वुकोंग के उत्तराधिकारी का मार्ग तैयार किया ताकि उसकी विरासत और स्वतंत्रता हमेशा जीवित रह सके।